Okay, so here you can see if you measure from this edge over here, this is where the reflection starts on all the wallpaper stuff. And then from here on up is where it reflects too. So if we were to rotate this all the way to the bottom, this corner in here would be reflected down here. And you can see that the white painting goes way past this, so we don't have to worry about the paint being there. But over here we do, because going straight down this way, you can see there's the edge of the painting. Right over here is where the reflection of the wall up here is going to be. So we have to worry about turning that around. So the trick here is just to use the same layer and do a mirror of it and then mask out what we don't want. So it's going to start doubling up here. So we're going to grab this and make a copy of it. I'm going to hide the first one and just leave this layer over here. And so I'll go to my um, edit, transform, and flip vertical. And then that flips the whole thing down. This lock in here used to be right in there. Then here you can see what used to be the table, the lamp shade. And so this in here, here you can see the opposite of that corner. So this corner over here is right up against that edge. So this, I'm going to click and drag this straight down right about there. I'm going to just kind of eyeball it. And I'll be able to move this around later. Okay, so I moved that around, and what I want to select now is just this section in here where the reflection is going to be. So let me back away here a little bit. I'm going, just so we understand what I'm doing, I'm going to do a select all on my selection, and I'm going to do an option delete, and that'll fill it with white, and that's going to give me the whole purple background. So option delete, that gives me everything that I can see in here. So now I can see the whole image in there. There's nothing being selected on this one. Now I can just focus on what I want over here. And what I want is I'm looking at the reflection. So let me turn this off. I'll generate my selection this way. This might be a little bit easier. So this is all going to be wall in here, and so I want to generate the selection right along this frame. So I'll grab my selection. I'm going to click here. Whoops, am I in the right place? Click here, here, sneak around the keyboard because you can't reflect through that. Come back over here, go up, and work my way around here, around the computer, and it's still, everything's on the glass, so I'm going to come over here on the glass over here, and right over here to the edge of the computer, and then I'll work my way around over here. So that's the only part of the wall that gets reflected in the glass from this side. Okay, so now I can go ahead and generate my selection. And whoops, let me do it this way. I'll fill this up. And I'm going to, well, actually, I'll throw this away, and I'm not going to save the selection. Do not apply, just delete it. Now I can go ahead and use this selection to generate that. And so the white area is what I can see. The back area is protected. And if I turn this on, now we can see through there. And it looks like it could use a little bit more line in there. I'm going to unplug this so that they're not connected with each other. And I think I might be able to move that around now. Let me lock this one. Let's see. Yeah, so I nudged it over just a hair, and that took care of that. Okay, so maybe a little bit lower. All right, so now let me do a Command 0, and I'm going to turn on the back one. And now we can see the reflection in here, and you can see these are moving diagonally from the top to the bottom left. These are moving diagonally from the top left to the bottom right. And I want these to line up as well, so I'm going to select them, and I'm just going to nudge them with my cursor until they look right, so that it looks like a reflection. I'm also going to make this more transparent than the other one, just like that. And then what I want to do is I want to join these two together. And I'm going to do well, I don't want to do a merge. Well, let me do a merge and show you what something goes fishy in here. And so if I go ahead and do a merge, I get this weird little blank spot in here. So let me do an undo. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to steal this and throw it away, and I'm going to hit apply. So that applies just that one little selection is selected there. I'm going to do the same thing to this. I'm going to grab this and throw that away and apply. And that way, that's just that one little selection there. Ah, there's something going on in there. So I gotta get rid of that white area. Looks like I've got some white in there. So I think I may have done it when I was deleting stuff out of here. So I'm just gonna zoom in here. So let's get rid of that white stuff. So click here. Okay, just delete that. Okay. Command 0. Back a little bit more. Turn them all on. There we go. So now it looks correct. Okay, so I'm going to save that. I've already saved it off camera here while I fixed my errors. Command save. And now what I want to do is crop it. And oh, if I wanted to change the color, now that these are both clean, I can select both of these and I can merge them now. So merge layers. And now I can add an adjustment layer over here. And I can go to hue. And then I can just slide my value in here and go with a different wallpaper color. And right now it's affecting the whole image. If I only want it to affect the wallpaper, I hold the Option key down or Alt key and click between the layers. And now the color hue adjustment's only affecting the wallpaper and the reflection. And you can desaturate it. And the other thing I want to do with this is I want to multiply it. It's under normal. So by multiplying it, you see the shadows on the wall. That looks a little bit cleaner. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with that for now. So I'll save that. Okay, now if you want to say, I'm going to crop this, and if I want to save the crop so that nothing gets lost, a trick is to select everything that you're working on. Whoops. And make that into a smart layer. So we'll go ahead and click on here, convert to smart object rather. And now I can crop this. And if I screw it up, I can come back and modify it. And here's where we're going to change this to the size we need. So first I want to do is I want to crop this. I'm going to do a C on the keyboard. And I want to crop this to 300 by 250. And I just want to make this as big as I think I need the crop, and then try to figure out where I want the image to end or start. So if I'm backing away or zooming in, so that might be where I want to go in. And now I'm just going to kind of guesstimate. If I were to zoom it in, I don't think I'd ever make it any smaller than that. So if this is the actual resolution I want for this one, let's say that this is 300 by 250, then I have to figure out how much wider this is going to be in here. So I'm thinking it looks like it's about double in here. So if I'm going from in here to here, double ought to take care of me. Okay, so I'll go ahead and crop that. And the original image is still intact, including all those edges, because it was cropped as a smart object. And now I can go into the image size, and in here I can go ahead and I'll just do, just so we can see what it looks like, I'll change this to 72 pixels, and I'll double this thing. So the width used to be 300, so that's 600, and by 250, so it's now 500. So that'll give me room to make that grow, and it'll keep the image relatively small. And I'll hit OK. Okay, so that's the size that I want. And in here, I can call this P1 period PNG. And then when I set this up, I can export it. But I'm not done. Let's say I wanted to make some adjustments to the colors in here. I can double click in here. I'm going to drill my way into here. And I'm drilling my way in here, and I can modify this as well. And so let's see what optics does. Remove chroma. No, don't need that. Color gradient, geometry is fine. Maybe adjust the curve in here. So let's see if we bring this up, that makes it a little bit brighter. Hit OK, and then save this and I'm doing a Command W to close that layer window, and it lightens everything up. And so that's the setup. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is go to the File drop-down menu and select Generate Image Asset. And if we go to the desktop in here, we see the Assets folder generated, and there's our first image for our banner. And then we would bring that into Animate, and we can scale it up and animate it the way we want. Oh, I left out a little mistake there. Let's go back and fix that. So we'll drill in here, and in here there's that section in there. So I'm going to just zoom in right in there. And I'm going to grab my selection tool, and I'm going to just clip that right about there. Click in there. It looks like this can come a little bit down this way too. And go up here. And I'm just deleting off of this layer right in here. So I'll just delete that there. Deselect. Command 0. I'm still looking at it big. You can see I still have a lot of the artwork that I was working with. I'll save that change, close that smart layer, and now I'm back over here. And if we zoom in here, that little mistake was cleaned up. Okay, so, and again, if I come back over here and see the image, that's cleaned up as well as updated. So it all fits, got a nice reflection going off of it, and that could work. All right, so that's how you set up the image, and that's how you set it up so that you can bring it into Animate, and now I can scale it. This image was not generated to work with the parallax effect. It's just so that you can have a slideshow. Maybe you're zooming straight into the picture, recropping it, kind of the proverbial Ken Burns effect. That's all we're doing with this.